All right. Morning everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Doing pretty well. Just trying to stay awake. The traffic on the highway were absolutely brutal this morning. Bumper to bumper for almost an hour.
I know, right? I got caught in the rain near Bangi. It was pouring out of nowhere just as I was pulling out of my driveway. Gotta love our unpredictable weather.
Yeah, looks like we have everyone here. Welcome Navina and Ahmad. So, well, since everyone is here, we should probably get started. Um, First of all, thank you all for taking the time to join today, especially on such short notice. Before we dive into our agenda today, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our new Green Tech lead, Navina. So, some of you may have interacted with her on Teams or even seen her emails, but Navina is officially joining our sustainability division today to oversee our environmental engineering initiatives. Navina, would you like to introduce yourself to the team?
All right, thanks, So, hi everyone. It's great to finally put faces to the names. I'm Navina, and my background is in sustainable technologies, specifically focusing on environmental systems and green infrastructure. I'm really looking forward to working with all of you to figure out how we can move beyond just awareness campaigns and actually make tangible, measurable impacts on the environmental pollution happening right here in our local communities.
Hi, Navina. Welcome to the team. We definitely need that technical perspective.
Yeah, great to have you on board, Navina. As today's minute taker, I've gotten the attendance list put out. Since it's a small group today, I've just checked everyone off manually as all five of us are present, so there are no apologies needed.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Shamil. Just to make sure we are all on the same page before we dive in, Shamil, could you just briefly run through today's agenda?
Yeah, sure. Our main goal today is addressing localized environmental pollution through a community-driven social impact project. We have a solid budget for Q3, but we need to choose the right avenue. We have five proposed solutions to evaluate. First, will present the community circular waste hub. I will then follow with a smart composing system. Third, Ahmad will discuss Adopt a Tree program. Fourth, Daniel will cover the IoT optimized microalgae bioreactor. Finally, Navina will pitch a intelligent IoT drainage monitoring system. We will then thoroughly debate the technical feasibility, community impact, and risk of each before deciding on our project priority.
Great. Thanks, Shamil. So, I guess I will just kick us off by introducing the first item, which is an community circular waste hub. So, the idea is basically to set up a localized, high-tech center equipped with AI-powered sorting bins. So, right now, our local recycling rates is quite abysmal because people throw contaminated food containers into the paper bins, ruining the whole batch. So when community members drop off their trash at this hub, the AI uses computer vision to scan and mechanically separate plastics, metals, and paper, drastically reducing human error. So to drive adoption, we would gamify the experience. We can tie the AI system to a mobile app that gives users green points or cash rebates. Maybe we can even work with local grocery stores to give out vouchers for every kilogram they correctly recycle. So the biggest strength here is that the financial incentive will definitely drive massive community participation and turning recycling from a chore into a rewarding habit.
It's a fantastic concept for a community engagement, and I love the gamification aspect. However, from an impact analysis standpoint, we have to look closely at the financial and operational reality. The initial capital expenditure to purchase and install automate AI hardware is very high. We are talking about highly sensitive optical sorter and robotic arm. Furthermore, this machinery requires a dedicated, secure, and climate controlled physical space to operate safely. You can't just leave it in out of the park. My biggest fear is the operational risk. If the highly sensitive machinery break down due to our humidity, or if there is system downtime due to software bug, the trust will just pile up. The community will lose faith in the system immediately if they haul their heavy recycle to the hub and the machine is displayed and out of the screen.
That is actually a very fair point, Daniel. We definitely don't want to blow our entire Q3 budget on hardware that could easily break down and become a frustrating eyesore for the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, so what if we step away from the expensive, delicate AI and focus purely on the heaviest, smelliest part of household trash, the organic waste? That brings me to my item 2. I'm proposing a smart composting system. We would place industrial grade automated composters in local neighborhoods or at the community hall. Residents then will dump their food scraps and the machine automatically churns, aerates, and regulates temperature to accelerate microbial decomposition. And this directly addresses a massive portion of municipal waste that usually ends up in landfills, where it gets trapped under plastic and produces methane. Plus, it creates a perfectly closed loop system. The resulting organic fertilizers is given right back to the community for free, which they can use for their local gardens, park beautification, or even selling to local nurseries.
I love the circular economy aspect of that, Shamil. And the community gardens would definitely benefit. But processing food waste, even with a smart automated system, inevitably generate extremely unpleasant odors, especially in our tropical heat. It requires daily management to ensure the ratios are balanced. If the community dumps too much wet waste and not enough dry leaves or pepper, it stop being a composter and just become a rotting garbage bin. There is a very high risk of attracting pests, stray dogs, flies, and rodents. One rat sighting near the community hall and the neighborhood association will demand we shut the whole project down as a public health biohazard.
Yeah, you're completely right, Ahmad. If the smell gets out of hand, we'll lose all the community support instantly, no matter how good the fertilizer is.
Yeah, exactly. To avoid those complex maintenance and biohazard issue entirely, we might want to look at my proposal. That is item number 3 and adopt a tree program. So we partner with a local nature reserve or a deforested state park, and individuals can sponsor or physically plant a tree. So we tie it to a digital platform where they get GPS coordinate, a digital certificate, and growth update with photos for their specific trees over the years. So the strength here is the incredibly low technological barrier to entry. It's highly marketable to schools, families, and even corporate sponsors looking for CSR points. It creates an emotional connection between the users and the environment. And there is zero risk of bad smell or broken machinery.
It's definitely a beautiful PR initiative, Ahmad, and it scales very easily from a marketing perspective. But I have to point out the scientific timeline. The major weakness is that the ecological impact is incredibly low. A sapling takes 10 to up to 20 years to mature enough to sequester any meaningful amount of carbon from the atmosphere. We are facing severe pollution now. Furthermore, we are dealing with living organisms in unpredictable environments. If there is a prolonged drought, poor soil quality, or even a localized fungal disease, a massive percentage of those adopted trees could die within the first 6 months. Imagine the public relations nightmare when hundreds of users check their app only to find out the tree named after their child has died due to poor maintenance.
Is spot on. Reforestation is great, but if we want immediate localized air quality impact in the city, we need something proactive. That leads to my proposal, item 4, an IoT optimized microalgae bioreactor. Think of it as a futuristic liquid tree. It's an active air purification system where we pump polluted air through tall emulated glass tank filled with living microalgae. The algae consume carbon dioxide and release oxygen at a rate up to 400 times more effective than a regular tree. It is highly space efficient, meaning we can install this glowing green tank right in the middle of the city square, maybe busy interaction or bus stop to tackle invisible air pollution head-on where the exhaust fume are the thickest.
I'm very familiar with algae bioreactors, Daniel, and while the carbon capture statistics are on paper are amazing, the physical execution in the public space is a total nightmare. The massive weakness is the extreme biochemical complexity. You need precision sensors, constantly monitoring pH levels, light intensities, CO2 dissolution rates, and nutrient flow. If the ambient temperature spikes during a heat wave, or maybe a foreign bacteria or mold gets into the water supply, you experience a system crash. So the entire algae colony dies within hours. If that happens, not only does the purification stop completely, but you are left with a massive glass tank full of toxic, rotting green sludge right in the middle of the city. The maintenance overhead requiring trained biochemists to clean and recalibrate the tanks weekly, which is just too risky and expensive for a community level project.
The concept of a liquid tree is fascinating and will look incredible, but I think Navina is right. We simply just don't have the specialized scientific workforce to maintain a fragile biochemical lab in a public bus stop. What about your proposal, Navina?
So let's look at item 5, which shifts our focus from air to water. An intelligent IoT driven drainage monitoring system. So flooding and illegal chemical water contamination are just massive and recurring issues here. We would install rugged smart sensors across the local drainage networks and rivers. So these sensors would basically monitor water levels, flow rates, turbidity, and chemical pollutants in real time. So if a factory illegally dumps chemicals upstream in the middle of the night, or if a critical drain is blocked by debris and about to cause a flash flood during a storm, so the system immediately alerts the authorities and the community via an app. The strength here is that it provides proactive, highly scalable data to stop environmental disasters before they destroy homes rather than just cleaning up the mess afterwards.
Yeah, I strongly agree that water pollution and flash floods are critical issues for our community, Navina. But the biggest hurdle there isn't the sensor technology, it's the bureaucracy. This project has a heavy, almost absolute reliance on municipal infrastructure. We are a community action group. Getting the local city council, the Department of Irrigation, and the public work departments to grant us permission to tap into their public drainage network, drill into concrete, and integrate our software with their emergency response teams could take years of red tape. And additionally, we run a very high risk of our expensive sensors being smashed by heavy debris during the monsoon season, or just simply being stolen for scrap metal.
Wow. Okay, so when we really put this under microscope, every single one of these has some pretty significant operational hurdles, whether it's the cost, the biohazard, slow impact, or government red tape.
Exactly, and that is why we are having these meetings to break these ideas down before we spend a single ringgit. So, and all right, we have all the pros and cons laid out clearly. So, how if we were scale down or even combine this to mitigate the exact risks we just spent time discussing?
Yeah, I jump in. The IT drainage and the LJ bioreactors are amazing, forward-thinking tests, but they require heavy municipal intervention and a complex biochemical engineering that we just don't have the capacity for. We need something that is entirely community-centric and within our control. So I think the best path forward is actually combining Earn's AI Waste Hub with SYAMIL's smart composting system into one holistic facility, and we can call it the Smart Circular Ecology Hub.
I completely agree with you, Ahmed. I mean, if we combine them into a single centralized, purpose built facility, we could solve a lot of those isolated problems. The hub can be properly staffed by local volunteers or maybe even members, which mitigates Daniel's fear of the AI machines breaking down with no one around them to fix them or guide the users. It addresses dry recyclable with AI precision and simultaneously handles wet organic waste. By centralizing the composters at the hub rather than scattering them blindly in the neighborhood, we can install heavy duty industrial odor control filters and secure pest management enclosures, which completely eliminates the biohazard and rat risk that Ahmad brought up earlier.
I'm totally on board with that compromise. It's highly scalable. We can start with just one pilot hub. It provides immediate, tangible finance incentive for the community to show up. And it's tackled the full spectrum of house waste, both wet and dry, without needing a single city council drainage permit of biochemists.
Yeah, perfect. I will note in the official minutes that we have a general consensus. We will then shelve the water sensors, bioreactors, and tree planting for now, and prioritize the combined smart circular ecology hub for our immediate Q3 project rollout.
All right, excellent work, everyone. So that was a highly productive and thorough breakdown. Looking at the time, we are just about at the top of the hour. Shamil, should we agree on some specific follow-up actions to get the ball rolling on this hub?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Navina, since you have the technical background, can you research the hardware costs and find some reliable or localized AI voting bins and the industrial composters by maybe next Wednesday?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'll reach out to a few suppliers and get some preliminary quotes and maintenance schedules.
Yeah, and Ahmad, please draft a comprehensive community survey to determine what kind of recycling incentives, whether direct cash, utility rebates, or even grocery vouchers, would actually drive the highest behavior change. I need that drafted by the end of the week, so we can start polling. And Daniel, your task is to investigate those industrial order control mechanisms. I want to know exactly how we secure the enclosure designs for the composting units so we don't get a single complaint. Maybe have a report ready by next Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, will do.
Oh, and Eng and I will start drafting the initial pitch, proposal, and architectural mock-ups to present to the local city council. We need to secure the land use and zoning permits for the hub's placement by the end of the month. The official minutes from today's meeting will be posted in our shared folder by tomorrow afternoon.
Great. And before you log off, please remember to update your individual project boards with the new Q3 sustainability targets by the end of the day.
On it, I will update my timeline now.
And again, I just want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules for this. We'll sync up again next Wednesday at the same time to review the hardware quotes and the survey drafts. Yeah, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye bye.